I just have to thank all of you for your courage to be here and continue to use your voices. It's not lost on me that May is National Police Officers Week. And if you've spent any time in Judiciary Square, which I have as an AUSA walking past that National Memorial, you recognize that peace officers come from all over to honor those who've made the ultimate sacrifice. But if you walk over there, you also know that there's a quote on one of the walls, and it says, "In valor there is hope." In valor there is hope, and I never forgot that. And I think that's what we see today. My colleague, Senator Blumenthal, asked you if there was hope. You thought there was still hope. By you all being here today, that is our hope. That is our hope. Because there is a challenge that we all have been talking about the rule of law and how it is being abused. And it is so important that those voices, your voices that still care about the rule of law, stand up and push back and advocate for it. And so I just want to say thank you. As somebody not only is a career prosecutor, but married to a law enforcement officer, I thank you so much. At the end of the day, what you are doing is so courageous. Let me ask you this, 2 questions I have, though. We talked about the effect of these pardons, but talk to me about trust, right? Because as a prosecutor, as a law enforcement officer, part of really the role that you have is to build the trust with the community. And that is, to me, one of the most important things. And do you feel that what is happening now because of these pardons and because of the ignorance and the willing to ignore the rule of law, that we are also now really jeopardizing that public trust with law enforcement and prosecutors? I'm curious how you feel about that. Officer Daniel, we'll talk with you first. Hodges.
Yeah, absolutely. Trust is fundamental to a functioning society, and I don't see how anyone could not have had their trust damaged in the federal government, at least by this administration. These horrific, as far as I can tell, illegal human trafficking of individuals to prisons in El Salvador by federal agents. And I somehow have to still defend myself as a police officer in the work I do because of that even though there's no connection there between me and them, it absolutely hurts trust in local law enforcement. Yeah. So all these things make it more difficult to do my job. And because we need the trust of the community to do our jobs.
Thank you.
As a prosecutor, I'm sure you know, part of what we do is we have to have the trust of the victims that we are prosecuting cases for, because their testimony is important to be able to bring those cases forward. Having things like this happen where a case is wiped away, where there are victims involved, makes it that victims are less likely to trust prosecutors to do the thing that they're supposed to do. And having someone like Ed Martin in control in Washington, D.C. makes it that the city of Washington, D.C. is less safe, and the people are less likely to trust the people that are supposed to be prosecuting the cases that are to protect them.
I think Ms. Levine took the words right out of my mouth, so I'll come at this from a different angle. One of the other ways that it is important for us to have trust is to have the trust of the judiciary. Appearing in court on behalf of the United States, I always felt that we were held to tremendously high standards, and so judges took our word seriously. If we made a representation to a judge, if we assured them that certain facts were true, if we made an argument, they took it more seriously because of the weight of the authority of the United States behind us. When we have prosecutors or representatives of the Justice Department refusing to answer the judge's questions, failing at their basic duties of candor to the court, telling the judge false information, that absolutely undermines the ability of any prosecutor anywhere in the United States to do their job effectively.
Thank you.
Senator, thank you. I don't think we have to worry about the trust being shattered. I mean, it already is. Any prosecution against any person of any political party is already looked at as weaponized. I mean, I've heard that word more than I've cared to weaponize. Everything is weaponized against this person, that person. So that's when you get down to the facts. I mean, let's be very factual about the things that are happening. I had the opportunity of being in Reno a couple of weeks ago, presenting a resolution in front of the legislature out there, condemning what happened on January 6th. I was very matter of fact. It wasn't my opinion. On January 6th, people attacked police officers, and that's not okay. Donald Trump pardoned people who attacked police officers. That's not okay. And almost every Republican out there voted against the resolution. And, I mean, how can you have trust when you can't even acknowledge just the facts of something? So I think the trust is already fractured. I don't know if it's beyond repair, but I think, individuals that are sitting before you now are committed to doing whatever we can do to keep and help restore the public trust.
Yeah, thank you. And then just one quick question, because I think I get asked this question as well as an attorney. So for Sarah and Mike, let me just ask you this. Attorneys they violate the law, they can be held accountable. Rules of professional conduct, prosecutors' conduct. Literally, if you go too far as an attorney, whether you're the U.S. attorney, or AUSA, or prosecuting, or anywhere, your bar license can be taken away if you violate those professional rules of conduct. Isn't that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah. And because of that, is that part of the reason why you left? Because you didn't want to violate those ethical rules? And should that be an area, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but it is an area that I believe as attorneys we should be held accountable to. And every attorney across this country should know that if they do violate those rules, there is accountability. It's not often used, but it is something that is a tool to be out there for many to recognize is available.
So I was fired, so I didn't have the opportunity to resign. I think if I had stayed at the Justice Department, there would certainly be ethical concerns that would have been brought forward that I would have felt that I would have been obligated to resign at some point because of that. Having those ethical responsibilities are so important. It's what makes us able to do the things that we do, and especially for prosecutors, because we can take away someone's liberty, it's extra important. So it's something that absolutely is something, I think that's probably one of the considerations that some people have had when they have left the Justice Department, is that they've resigned to protect that integrity and to protect their ethics.
Yeah.
I think that was the case, in fact, for some of the people whose names have come up earlier in this hearing. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Welch.